Hello and welcome to Morning Meeting. I'm Courtney Hirsch, CEO of Jomboy Media. I'm joined with our producer, Matty Mass. We got a fun episode planned. Matty, can you run us through the agenda from are you in a penthouse in Chicago?
I don't know. I think that's the
Yeah, you're
penthouse, and I'm
right.
down here.
Are you on
Um,
the bottom floor?
yeah, seriously. This is going to be a good episode because we have to address Barbados because you had an eventful week in Barbados. But then we're going to go through some JM Plus stuff, your social media journey, and some series that you're doing now. It is officially September, and when I say officially, it's the 23rd, or September's almost over. So if that was breaking news to you, that's on you. But that means that your kids are back in school. So I wanted to see how that process went. And then you've got some fun upcoming stuff, and you went to the Bananas game. So we're going to touch a little bit of it all. But like I said, I wanted to start with Barbados.
Yeah.
First, we have to address what happened because I saw you day one, and then all of a sudden, the morning of day two, it was like Courtney's down for the count,
I'm
probably not
out.
seeing her the rest of the trip.
Oh my goodness. Day one was fun. Did you have fun on day one?
I had fun on day one too.
We were on the beach all day. We entered our John Boy Media team into an international cricket competition. I was enjoying the festivities, but I guess I went there with not feeling well, but I just thought it was kind of like a cold or a cough, nothing serious. But I think that all day on the beach Friday with our bodies are just not used to it. We're out in the sun, limited water, and that just put me over the edge. So I got really, really sick on Saturday and like couldn't get out of bed sick. But I was in Barbados, like calling the front desk, like, can you send a doctor? And if you know me, I do not get sick easily. So this is really out of character for me that I would be calling in search of a doctor while I'm on an international trip.
And that's what I wanted to touch on is, you covered this a lot on your socials, but the whole thought process of it is okay to take this time for yourself. Like, I'd rather you be 100% in a few
Yeah.
days rather than giving 60% today. Can you speak to kind of the lessons that you had to learn on the fly of taking the time that you needed to recover?
Yeah. I was diagnosed with pneumonia and we figured that in the US and I really learned that you can't just always push through and show up and that's going to make things worse. It was really hard for me to sit out and I sat out for the last 2 weeks, which I'm, impressed with myself, but yeah, I learned that it's really hard as a mom of three and a leader. Like I like to show up for people and I like to set the example, but I needed to actually set the example that you need to rest and take care of yourself in order for you to show up for others. So that was like kind of the new mindset. Like you need to set the example that like your health is the number one priority. And my two big takeaways were one, like you have to ask and instead of besides just rest, you need to ask for help and get, either free help, take what your family and friends are offering, which I took up many of my family and friends on dropping off soup or watching my kids, like, which I usually am too prideful to do. I asked my aunt one day, I tried to come in last Monday for an hour to work because I was just so hopeful that I was going to be feeling better. And I was like, oh, I can get out of bed. I should go into the office. Then I got here for an hour. I'm like, oh my God, I need an Uber home. So I like called my aunt that day and I was like, can you watch my kids? Because my husband was out of town. Like I would never ask someone to like drop what they're doing and watch my kids, but I needed help. And then I also paid for extra help of babysitters, extra help around the house just because I was alone. My husband was at an offsite in California. And when you're home and a mom of three little kids, there's really not a lot of resting if you don't have help. And then my other big takeaway was just like so thankful for the village that I've created And I think that there's a lot of talk, especially on social media right now, about how everyone has their own boundaries and they don't really like going out and they love like me time and they don't want to go to this birthday party and they don't want to show up for others. And it was just a smack in the face reminder that if you want a village, you have to be a villager. And
Mm.
when now I'm like fully healed, I'm like looking around at my village and I'm like, how can I be a villager? Because what goes around comes around, which I thought was a good lesson.
That's a great one. Putting it in those terms, and especially knowing what you had to experience over the last couple weeks, really hits home.
Yeah.
Is a good way of saying it.
Yeah. It was funny. My
Um,
mom like talked in my language and she was like, now you need to learn the skill of rest. And I was like, that
yeah,
is like the sweetest motherly, but also kind of like a little jab too.
yeah,
But
right.
that's my mom.
Uh, Going back to the Barbados thing, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That first day, I think a lot of our players were like hit by the sun.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
different.
yeah. A
It's
lot of us kind of went down. Not as
yeah.
bad as me, but like, yeah, got really impacted by it.
So the second day we were really prepared. We stocked up on, the sports drinks and everything like that. But the whole crux of everything is that Barbados, it's on Eastern Standard Time, but it is on Barbados
Yeah.
time.
Oh
Like
yeah. Yeah.
when you said you called the receptionist, like, if you have something scheduled, just shift it 30 minutes
Oh
back. And
yeah.
I
And
can't
like
imagine being
pray that
sick.
they're gonna show
Yeah.
up, right?
Yeah, exactly. So adding sickness to that is like, whew, props
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah. It was
But I
amazing.
wanted to also speak to the overall success of the trip. Both parts, our own content, which I
Mm-hmm.
think was a really big success,
Yeah.
and really found new viewership, especially on Maine, where with the baseball content, we're not always finding those new viewers,
Right.
but also just in the relationships. Like Brett in
Mm-hmm.
on that second day was really able to communicate and speak to a lot of the brands that were there, the CPL, right?
Right.
The league itself, which was really cool. Can you speak to that success and what Jomboy Media as a whole was able to take away from Barbados?
Yeah, it was a huge success for us. I think content wise, you hit the nail on the head. We are gaining new viewership. We're also showing our skills of creating a different type of like higher quality kind of TV level, like docu-series type content that is performing well on a channel that's not used to that type of content, which is a huge achievement. We're able to make those relationships and say like, hey, like John Boy Media is here. Like we're going to build in cricket and we are going to gather and build a community of US cricket fans. And we got to meet the head of the Caribbean Premier League. We got to meet executives from Willow TV. That's their distribution partner. And we are excited to continue to engage with our sponsors. We also, Mountain Dew is a sponsor, which most of you know. They sponsored this whole cricket series, which was cool that one of our current brands is going in on the ride with us to explore a new vertical and new sports fans. It's an amazing opportunity for brands because if cricket is really underserved, like every brand is going after like NFL right now. So like you are like one out of thousands of brands trying to reach the NFL audience, right? Cricket is a really great opportunity to totally own that space and reach an audience of sports fans who are high household income. They have a lot of discretionary income and they're really underserved. So I'm glad that it worked out so well for Mountain Dew. And now we have an example to show other brands how we can incorporate them into this new vertical. So huge success all around. And I think just like every time the team try something new and just reaches that new milestone, we have another notch in the belt. I feel like it helps morale, it builds connection. It's kind of like a culture boot camp going on these trips together. So all around, just yeah, a really huge success.
I agree. I think it was really awesome. And to your point of cricket being this underserved community, especially in the US, uh, I feel like everybody that we've interacted with has been so welcoming and like really on
Yes.
board and excited.
Yeah.
And so to your point with Mountain Dew, I'm really excited for the existing brands that we work with, them getting to be more and
Mm-hmm.
more introduced to this cricket community, which is so
Yeah.
excited anyway.
Right.
And hopefully that, shines for the brands as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. They're going to get a payback because they're going to be the first brands kind of supporting cricket, and the audience is going to recognize that.
100%. I want to shift over. We do our weekly, or yeah, weekly, I guess, shout out to our JM Plus subscribers, Hayden Clapholtz and Brian Burgundy this week. Thank you guys so much for being members of JM Plus. While we're here, Courtney, I wanted to ask you because we recently changed the branding of
Mm-hmm.
this. We were calling it Substack, Substack,
Yeah.
Substack. Now we've changed to JM Plus. Why? What was the reasoning there?
We didn't want to confuse our community members. It was surprising to me. A lot of our community members had no idea what Substack was. It's really for the written word. I think companies that started out in publishing, or reporters or journalists that wanted to create their own outlet, they use Substack. I think it's new for video creators and probably even newer for sports creators. So I guess when I think about it, it does make sense why our audience was not familiar with the term. And what's common in the creator world, it is common to have this extra tier of like this extra product that allows for more content, get closer to the community. And JM Plus, I think just everyone kind of knows what that means right off the bat. So the name change is simply to make things less confusing for our community members and yeah, easier to understand.
Yeah, it's also custom. Like Substack is just the name of
Oh,
the
true.
service,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Like we should yeah, it's cool that we're promoting Substack, but we're really promoting our subscription product, which gets you more behind the scenes and exclusive content.
Exactly. Um, but yes, thank you to Hayden and Brian.
Hmm.
Now I want to shift focus again. You put out this awesome LinkedIn post of just
Yeah.
your social media journey and highlighting the benefits, how you can take something that is really small to start and not only really small, but you recently put out the clip of the days of you having a no camera policy.
Yeah.
So like going from that
Yeah.
to now this and building and finding some really big
Hmm.
wins, and the accompanying photo is you with all the cheese. So can you speak to this LinkedIn post and fill in the audience of what this social media journey
Yeah.
has
Sure.
been for you?
So over 2 years ago, I think we had one of my advisors. I'll shout her out, Deirdre Lester. She now runs Teton Ridge. She was the former CRO of Barstool Sports, and she was advising for us. And she said, Courtney, you have to put yourself out there more. You have to be a thought leader. You should go on panels. You need to grow your brand, and that's going to grow the company's brand and open up a lot of connections in the industry. And at the time, I knew she was right, but I was scared shitless. And I committed, I think 2 years ago, to just start posting consistently on LinkedIn. And that opened so many doors for me, speaking opportunities, collaborations, people wanting to work with us or work for us. And I decided, okay, I need to start scaling this up. And now that I have some momentum. So I think like a year ago, I started doing Instagram too. And it just wasn't like hitting. It was so much effort for not a lot of results. And I was getting more traction on LinkedIn. I think I hovered at like 2,000 followers for over a year on Instagram. But I kept on doing it. I was like really determined. And 6 weeks ago, I changed up my strategy and I just wanted to take it more seriously. And there was like three reasons why I'm doing this. One, if my brand grows, the company grows. Two, I am managing the creators now. And when I manage a team, I like to really know what it takes to be successful in that position and what frame of mind those employees have coming to work every day. And I thought, okay, I need to like figure out what it takes to really get some traction here if I'm managing them. And then three, I am okay sucking at something at first because that is the price of trying something new. But after 2 years, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to, sorry, can I swear? I'm like, I don't want to suck anymore. So I just wanted to start seeing some results. I was like, okay, let's have this start working. And I committed to doing this 6-week sprint where I was posting 3 times a day on TikTok and Instagram, and then taking one of those posts and putting it on LinkedIn. And in 6 weeks, my followers on Instagram went from like 2,000 to I think I have like 22,000 now, and like 50 on TikTok, so like 14,000. LinkedIn has increased a little bit, but yeah, I'm like happy that I saw results. I think my learning is that consistency works, and giving valuable content. Like, how do I say it? Like, before I was doing a lot of this like funny or just like lighthearted kind of reels, and they didn't have much depth or substance or really show my personality. So I would get a lot of views, but those wouldn't convert to followers or like building a community. And now that I've posted more vulnerable content that's a little bit more authentic and raw, or value-based content where I'm giving tips or advice, I think that has really encouraged people to follow me. And that's why you see the shift in like followers go up.
Yeah, and part of this was the Friday F Up series. Where did that idea stem from?
You know what? I think internal, I've got a few advice to like do some series so you just have some consistency and it's not like every day you're thinking of something new. So I do Monday, like what's big for me this week as a mom and a CEO, and then Friday failures or F ups, where I share about something I effed up. And it was so funny because I like was starting this and my husband's like, are you sure? Like, how are you going to keep this going? I'm like, oh, I got a list. I got a long list.
Yeah.
But I think that shows that like, every leader fails, and it's all about just learning from it and picking yourself up and trying again. And I just wanted to show that it's okay to screw up. Like, it's about the resilience and just trying again. So that's kind of why I started that series.
That was great. Yeah, I mean, it hits home in a lot of ways. I think that we all F up at some point, right? If you're not, you're probably not doing something
Not
right.
doing
So,
enough.
yeah. And that's one of the big John Boy Media slogans is avoid complacency. And I
Yeah.
think that is like goes hand in hand.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, you've mentioned being a mom, and this month your kids have all gone back to school, or is Paris in
They're all
school
back
as
to
well?
school. Yeah, preschool, kindergarten, and second grade. So
Nice.
it's been a crazy 3 weeks back to school because a new nanny back to school. I was sick, out of commission for 2 weeks. My husband has been traveling for work. So this week we're like, okay, this is our normal week where we're going to have structure back into our lives. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been great. I love fall. Like, I love just back to school. It's going to be, the weather changes. It's going to be Halloween. Like, this time of year, I think is really special for families.
I agree. As somebody, I mean, what I'm a family of two,
You are.
maybe,
You're a family.
but that I agree. Just like it's done being hot, like
Yeah.
enough of the hot. It's I
Mm-hmm.
can wear long
Yeah.
sleeves and
I'm
like
into it.
be good, and it's all good. What is how do your kids feel about going back to school? Is there excitement
Oh,
or
they're
is
so
it,
excited.
oh, that's
It
good.
was Jewish holiday today, so the school is closed, and they are like, no, like, what are we gonna do? Like, they love school, so I'm in that sweet spot right now where they're still young enough to just like really love school. I'm like, no, I don't. I really don't want it to turn.
Uh, now, I mean, second grade, you have homework, I assume. How much of the homework are you helping
Oh
with?
God.
And here's my question, because I feel like the way math is done changes every 5 years. Are you doing math
Oh no,
homework
I'm
and
not
then you're
doing
like, I
homework.
don't understand
I
how
am
this
taking
works?
after my mother on this one.
Okay.
And if we wanted help with homework, she would say, "Oh, sorry, I already graduated."
Okay. Nice.
So that is, no, my husband really takes the lead in
Yeah,
homework, but they
yeah.
do it in aftercare. So it's like
Oh, that's
aftercare is
good.
like the best.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good, good. You've got some upcoming stuff, which is really exciting. You're a judge for the Clio Sports Awards,
Yep.
and then you're going to Dubai for a summit. I mean, just that sentence alone is crazy.
I'm so excited.
Um, I would be too. Dubai, somewhere I've always wanted to. That's like one of the places I definitely want to go at some point.
Yeah. It's a bucket list place.
For sure. What are you looking forward to from these
I
different things?
so I'm said yes to both of these things because my new thing is if it scares me, that means I should probably say yes to doing it. And both of these things are two tangible things that have come out of me posting on the internet, right? And now we're going to get exposure for our brand because these things have come my way. So it's just cool to see these things actually happen. Um, I've never been a judge before. This is really cool because I'm judging like an influencer campaign or a digital campaign or some athlete kind of partnership in sports marketing, like what was the best campaign. So there's a bunch of submissions. It's cool because the judges are all industry executives. So there's someone from the NBA, NFL, like all the leagues. There's someone from Barstool Sports or someone from the platforms like Spotify. So you get to meet with a lot of the people in the industry. That's going to start soon where I'm actually like reviewing submissions. So that will be a cool kind of new challenge for me. And then the $1 billion summit in Dubai, like bucket list to go to Dubai. This summit is, there's huge creators that have been speakers at this summit, like Jay Shetty, Yes Theory spoke there. The names go on, and I'm going to talk about, I don't know exactly what my speaking role is going to be about, but it's going to be something about like the future of sports creators and how they're going to help the sports landscape globally, work with the league, something along those lines. So I'm really excited about that. They were emailing me yesterday about flights, and they were like, if you take the flight out of JFK, like that's the plane with like a coffee bar in the back, or you could take the
Oh,
flight out of
wow.
Newark, which is more convenient. I'm like, oh no, like I'm doing this up. Like I'm getting,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want the best flight possible.
Give me the coffee bar.
Yes.
It's funny you mention Yes Theory because I mean I feel like I've been watching them forever, but when Emily and I just went to Denmark, we
Mhm.
went to it's called Freetown Christiania. It's in Copenhagen, but they like view themselves as their own civilization country,
Yeah.
like it's separate.
Hmm.
And Emily made our itinerary for the trip, and the name sounded so familiar. And it wasn't until we got there that I was like, wait a minute, Yes Theory did a video here. And then like I pulled up
Oh,
their video.
wow.
And so I was like pretending to be in like Yes Theory world,
That's
which was
cool.
fun.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that.
Uh, we talked about the stuff you're going to do. You just went to a Savannah Bananas game, and we would be
Oh,
remiss not to talk about that experience. What was that
have
like?
you
I know
been?
Joe's went with his kids. I know a lot of us went early. Like
Yeah,
we were like at
I
their first
know,
ever game,
right?
basically.
Yeah.
So I've never been, so I want you to tell me all the details.
I loved it. It was
That's good.
so fun. The energy, the like creativity, the like excitement. It was so fun. It's so fan oriented. And I know that's their slogan, but when you experience it in real life, it just really comes through of we are here to have fun and entertain. And it's all about the people that are sitting in those seats. And that was really cool. There's so much going on. There's like, dancing, and then there's fun umpires. There's a batter that comes out on stilts, but then they have surprise guests. Like Eli Manning was there, and like he was an umpire, and then he like reveals himself. So they really just made like once in a lifetime experience for the fans where you kind of know what you're showing up for, but then they mixed in these surprise and delight elements where I think it makes people want to keep wanting to come back because you're like, ooh, what are they going to do next time? Like, who's hiding under that umpire suit, you know?
Yeah. That's awesome. And that's, Jomboy Media is community first. If we
Yeah.
lose that, we lose everything.
Yeah.
So very similar mindset. And I hope that, our content can speak to that to some degree. I don't think
Hmm.
we're doing it as big as
No,
they
no.
are.
I mean, it's
Um,
a lot of similarities in our
yeah.
brands, and like serving like the casual baseball fan and making baseball fun. And they're a great entry point for kids and families that are interested in baseball.
Yeah, and I think that just everybody knows baseball. That's one of the things that I
Yeah.
don't think as Americans we realize, but just
Hmm.
everybody, like you could say like, "Hey, that's your third strike." And that's
Right.
like
I know.
nobody thinks
You
of
were
that,
talking
but
about
it's
that
just
before. I'm like, you're so right. That's just ingrained in us.
ingrained.
Yeah.
And my fiance does like a little training
Hmm.
and her company's global. So she was using the movie Moneyball as like an example, and she had gotten feedback. This is, a while ago, a year or two ago, but she was like, the message was received, but some of the international audience aren't catching on to Moneyball as well. And she was like,
Mm.
oh, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
but when
Yeah.
she's doing this training for Americans, like you don't even have to be a baseball fan. You
No.
just understand
Yeah.
what's,
Yeah.
going on.
It's like if we tried to use like cricket terminology in like our
Yeah,
meetings, people would be like,
exactly.
one day they'll know. They're
Exactly.
going to know very soon.
True. I want to wrap up here with a question from the audience from the last episode that you were on. It comes from Anne,
Hmm.
and they asked, have you run into any conflicts with companies you want to work with, either competing with current sponsors or who do not want to be associated with other sponsors on the same platform? Without naming names, how do you handle that situation?
Okay. I think I understand her question. Like if a brand wants to work with us, but they don't want to be associated with another brand that we're working with. I think that's one
Yeah.
of the questions. No, we've
Yep.
never run into that. I think all of the brands that we work with, we're pretty selective. We don't work with brands that are off-putting in any way. To us, at least, they're pretty accepted widely. So we haven't run into that situation. And then the first one is what?
I think the first one is a lot of exclusivity too, and how we handle, if we're exclusive in a
Oh,
category, how do we
yes.
handle somebody
Okay.
else?
Okay. Yeah. So we do sell category exclusive sponsorships, and those are our big partnerships. They're usually committing with us for a full season, a year. Some categories, we need a multi-year deal to grant exclusivity. And in that cases, we are completely loyal to that brand, and any inbounds we have that competes with that brand, we politely say like we can't work with you. Our exclusivity runs out during this time. We'll reach out if this category opens up. So that does come into play for like, I think there's like 5 or 10 categories that we have exclusive partnerships with.
And I'm loyal to a fault.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, if you are an exclusive John Boy
Oh
Media
yeah.
sponsor, that's all I'm using.
Oh yeah. And
That is all I'm using.
I remember one time I was like, we have, we had like a computer paper printed out with our exclusive
Yeah.
sponsors. And I'm like, it's in the bathroom stalls. It's on the fridge. It's like
Yep.
everywhere you turn, like these are our ride or die brands. I don't want to see
Exactly.
you talking about another, their competitor.
Exactly. Cool. That is the morning meeting for this week, filmed in the late afternoon.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Thank you for
uh,
producing from Chicago, Matty.
of course, I've never produced from Chicago, so check that one off
I
the
love that.
list.
Appreciate you.
Cool.
Appreciate
Thank you,
everyone tuning
everybody.
in. Bye.